The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to Schmactors, a podcast series that seeks to answer the question, are Hollywood actors all spoiled, vapid, vacuous, and vain ingrates, or do some of them actually have interesting views on issues of the day? Or is it a mixed bag? James Marsters and Mark Devine are putting themselves to the test. They're leaving it up to you to decide if they're interesting or just plain nuts. Listen as they peel back their craniums, share the surprising thoughts that fill their heads, and draw back the curtain on the world's zaniest town.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Oh, my God. It's good to be with you again.
Good to see you, buddy.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Best part of my week.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I look forward to this. I'm like, today I'm going to be funny with Mark. I'm going to try to be funny with Mark. And Jason is going to keep us from embarrassing ourselves, or he's going to rein us in when necessary.
I wonder, everything you've left on the editing floor that I say, Jason, at the demand of James for fear of his cancellation in life, if I can get all of those that have been edited out and, like in Cinema Paradiso, put all of those together, and it'll be this grand, beautiful moment of everything.
Schmactors Extreme.
Yeah.
Like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I ever really do get canceled, or if I die, just release that. You'll make $1 million. I'll be like, oh, my God.
Because that's the good stuff. It's the silence that I look for afterwards. It's you putting your head down.
Yep.
Jason kind of looking away, and then just silence.
Live for that.
Yeah.
Great.
It's all I want. And then just doing what he just did, shaking his head. You told me, go ahead. We'll go on to something else.
Okay. So Mark's going to be on his best behavior, so we get a show out of this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be a 10-minute show. We're going to answer questions from the audience. That's what we do here on Schmactors. And if you want your question answered, go to schmactors.com. I learned this last week. And you can leave a voicemail. If you want to leave us a voicemail, we love that. And if you want to tippity type something out for a question, do that too. And we love the questions. Keep them coming in.
I love your voices. And I want to hear human beings so I can guess your face. Because I know most of them, I think. But we don't know these answers. We don't.
You could ask it in a fake voice,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll call in. This is Rupert T. Graves. I got a question for Mark.
Oh, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
Let's see if you catch me.
Do that. I want that. Yeah. Rupert T. Graves. Yeah.
All right, Jason, what do we got? Kick us off today.
Gina G wants to know, what's the wildest stuff you've seen at a Hollywood party? We all know it's full of Moloch-worshipping Adrenochrome drinkers.
What is that? Adrenochrome?
Adrenochrome is what you get from kids. And it's funny, man, because so the conspiracy theory was, and I had a guy tell me this straight face. He's like, you know what they do in Hollywood, don't they? This down in the South.
Yeah.
And he said they get these kids all worked up by playing, getting them a bouncy house and whatnot, and they get the adrenochrome going, and then they suck that out of them, kill them, and then they put that in themselves so that they have that same energy and youthful looks.
Oh, that's what we're doing in the pizza parlors. Stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. Well, back to reality. I have found, I'm sure that there are these wild Hollywood parties. What was that movie that I saw that was all about this?
Freak Off?
No, it was a good movie too. Anyway, I'm sure they exist, I guess, but for me, I've been to parties and everyone just is trying to network. And which is this thing where we're pretending to be friends when in fact we're trying to make connections to get work. And it's just this false situation, and I don't like that. So I tend to, if I have to go, I go for a little while, and then I shake everyone's hand, and then I get out of there. I don't want to be networked with.
Yeah.
Hi, can I use you? Can I manipulate you into helping me get work by pretending to be your friend? That's not a great day,
I've always found everybody's really uncomfortable, no matter what, especially at those things. I tended to drink too much because I was uncomfortable, and it never ended up being like those good parties you have with friends of just playing Pictionary or whatever, where you go away and you want that to happen, last all night.
Yeah.
I used to, with my friend Marcel, who was dating the girl from what's the show? Gilmore Girls. And I remember she was there with Melissa McCarthy and the guy from, what is it? Sean. He's got a great podcast. He was on Will and Grace. Can't remember his name. But we decided to make this more comfortable. Oh, and also, who's the guy? CSI Miami, Caruso. So Caruso was like over in the corner, and it was an outdoor thing, and he was just smoking a cigar, and he looked miserable, and I went over and said hi to him, had a cigarette, and he was smoking a cigar, and he was so angry that I'm just like I'm going to get away from there, and I remember keep looking over there. He never moved from under this light. It was like an outdoor light. It was so weird. But I'm like, God, there's so much tension here. It's just so much tension.
So David Caruso has made sure that he's sitting under a light, so he's well
Standing.
lit.
He was standing
Under a light, so he's well lit, and everyone's going to notice him. But the whole thing is leave me alone. That's
brilliant.
Hilarious.
That's brilliant. I didn't even think of that because the one time I was on that CSI Miami, they shot that at Huntington Beach or something in California, and I was dead. It was freezing, and they poured. I've got the fake blood on me, and Caruso does the opening thing of like, well, you know what they say, Jim, speed kills. Yeah, that whole thing, and. Caruso does the whole thing of taking his glasses off, You can go on YouTube and see like every one. They're hilarious. And so he did it and and the director said, "Okay, moving on." And he said, No, I want to do it again. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And so we do it again. And for some reason, it was really great. The second time, whatever he did differently. And I think he's that kind of actor that he can, say what you will about him. He's damn good. But going back to that story, so my friend Marcel and I, we decided to play this game of going up to somebody that we didn't know and being so excited to see them by saying, "How are you?" And like giving them a hug, and then seeing the awkwardness in that person saying, "Oh my God. It's so good to see you." And then asking, "Well, how have you been?" And then they'll kind of give you a little, they don't say like, "I don't know you." It's just they have met so many people. And then I remember Marcel doing this and went up to a girl brutal. And she's like, "How are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I got my organs reversed, but as you know, and I'm still healing from that." She's like, and she goes, that's right. Oh my God. So you're okay? But the fact that he said, "I got my organs reversed," whatever that is, she took it as. So we did that all night. And that's when Lauren Graham got so angry at me that Melissa was like my drinking buddy. She was cool to hang out with. We'd get home drunk together. And then the guy from Will and Grace, he was just standing by Lauren being like, "Ugh, you're so gross."
You're talking about Sean Hayes.
Sean Hayes, thank you. And so I do tell people, listen, we go over to Barbara Streisand's house, and we have some of the finest wines. We read some Karl Marx, and then we have kids that we get them all riled up, and then we get the adrenochrome from them, put it in ourselves, and it's actually awesome. And it is a party that you will never be invited to.
You went to different parties.
I was a tag-along, man. I was always a tag-along.
I ran away from all of this. I seriously did. When I all of that part of my career when I was getting invited to all these, big time parties, it was wasted on me. I was like, "Oh no, I don't want to do that. Oh God."
They're miserable.
I ran away from all of it. Yeah, very few. I did go to a nice party. Seth Green invited me to his birthday party.
Oh, that's cool.
This last year. And it was a total Hollywood party because all of his friends are Hollywood, people.
Yeah.
But they're all amazing people.
Yeah.
Super down to earth, super friendly, super wonderful. I knew a lot of them. We had a great time.
Yeah.
But nothing weird happened because we're all, nice people. So
no. It's all made up. It's all made up, and they're just so sure. It's usually miserable, and then it's the smaller parties with your friends that you know that you can have fun with. And
yeah. I don't know. Maybe George Clooney goes to a different party than I do. I don't know, but I don't
probably
I've never been
not
partying with George. Yeah.
My mother did ask what a freak off was. An 85-year-old woman, because of the P. Diddy thing, and I didn't know how to explain that. As well, in the same breath, asking what the Haktua girl was.
Yeah, I don't know what a freak off is, and I don't think I want to live the rest of my life not knowing.
Okay, then don't watch the news.
I don't watch that news.
How do you turn on Entertainment Tonight and miss that?
I don't do that.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Caligula? It's kind of the same.
Yeah, it's all right. Caligula.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
I play video games, so I'm very moral.
Yeah.
And I shoot people in the face, and I enjoy it. Anyway, Jason, what's up?
Lena would like to know, if you were able to go to space for 1 month, would you?
I would have.
Wow. No.
Be miserable, right?
Well, space is not designed for you to be there, and you're just going to be in this little capsule with a little tiny window. You can gaze out at this blackness that's, and you're just in your little huddling in your little aluminum tube going, I'm in space. So what? I don't know. I like trees.
Wouldn't it be like going to the Grand Canyon where you're just like, oh, it's awesome, but how long can you look at it?
Yeah, would I go to space for 3 days? Yes.
Yeah.
Would I go for a month? Why?
It'd be tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless I could save humanity or something like that, I'd do that.
Are there things you want to experiment with yourself in space that you'd like to see? What would happen?
How many somersaults I can do without throwing up? Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably
it's
a
the
million
nausea.
in space.
It's the nausea that I'm afraid of.
I don't know. The other thing is like if you go to space for a month, the way things are now, they'll be like, oops, you can't come back till 3 years later. The rocket is kind of not working right now.
Right.
So you're just going to have to stay up there for the rest of your life. Hope you come home. Whew.
And then your
dicey.
legs have atrophied to like pencils and you got to learn to rewalk and you smell like sulfur.
And your eyeballs, they deform.
What?
Yeah. Your vision suffers because your eyeballs apparently they deform. The lenses are deform, and so there's all sorts of
from the
medical
pressure
problems. Lack of gravity does that.
Oh, wow.
Bone loss, muscle loss, radiation.
Radiation, yeah.
Yeah, you get away from the Earth's magnetosphere.
I take a bunch of selfies because people would be like, "You look so good," because my face wouldn't be sagging.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Maybe, yeah. I guess some people would look better in 0G and some people would look worse. I don't know. I don't know if I would look better. Let me check. Let me just smoosh my face up a little bit. I don't think I'd look good in 0G.
If it looks like that, I don't want. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm not. I'd like to read about space. I like to watch movies about space.
Yeah.
But I'm just like Gravity, great film, right? Sarah Bullock, and the most beautiful scene. Sandra Bullock. Sorry, Sandra. I've never met you, and probably never will now. And the whole thing is like it all goes haywire up in space, and she's just trying to get back to Earth, and that's the whole thing. She finally makes it back to Earth.
Film.
And this wonderful scene where she gets up out of the water, and the birds are singing in the green grass, and she's back at what is the Garden of Eden compared to what she just went through.
Yeah.
And she's so thankful to be on Earth. And I finished the movie, and I'm like, and I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
With Sandra, who I'll never meet, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm here in Eden.
Like I wouldn't want to go into a forest even.
Yeah.
Jackson, let me ask my son, if you could go to space for a month, would you? There's no Wi-Fi. Okay, so no.
There you go. See, he's got a good head on his shoulders. He knows the truth. Space sucks.
I wanted them to go to a cabin where there's no Wi-Fi or cell service, just up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And the first question Jackson asked was, is there Wi-Fi? And then I told my wife that, and she said, is there? Like, this is like a time for all of us to do. No, we're not going. Okay.
All right. So that is a no from me for a month. Mark, how are you coming down on the space for a month?
Big no. Big no.
Big no. Jason?
Yeah, I would absolutely go for a month.
For a month?
Real?
Yeah, I've got a big TV, and on the Apple TV, you get the screensaver of all the satellite footage, like flying over Earth, and I just watch that for hours.
Yeah,
and I could go up there and watch it for without having to boot up my TV.
But you only have a little tiny window. You don't have
you
the
seen the cupola or whatever they call it on the space station? It's a 180-degree dome that you can sit in.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
It's like going to IMAX, but you're actually there. I would totally go up there. I would become a poet to go up there, and I hate poetry.
And then all the other astronauts would be like, Jason doesn't do his work. He's just sitting there staring at space.
Well, it didn't say if I would go to month and work. I'm going up there to hang out.
Just
What a
for a
chill.
month.
Freeload off the space station. He takes all the food sticks, that Jason. He takes all the cinnamon ones.
After COVID, a month ain't nothing. I can sit around. I'm a master at sitting around and doing nothing. A month is nothing. I can do that on my head.
But you had enough to entertain you. You had enough to entertain.
You have the entire planet Earth beneath you. All of human existence that ever was, and ever will be.
Yeah,
all this planet is right below you.
Okay, I didn't know about the big window, so maybe I have to rethink that. Yeah,
No.
I would go for a week with the big window. I could last a week.
You'd go up there
bored.
to see if it is actually round.
The Earth,
right?
Yeah.
But then I mean, then once you prove that, you're ready to come back. And no, you're not coming back. It's like a 3-hour tour.
I'm just gonna be like Major Tom. I'm not coming back. Tell my dog I love her.
I think you're on mute.
Workday's starting to sound the same.
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
New Vitamin Water Zero Sugar Pineapple Passion Fruit is packed with vitamins, just like the amount of peas we packed in that sentence. It's packed like your tote bag, the one you stole from your ex, or your overpriced half a studio apartment, or extra rushed rush hour traffic. Packed like your calendar, triple booked at 5, of course. Grab a vitamin water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
All right, what do we got? Let's move on.
Paula wants to know, what financial advice would you give to someone who is just starting to work and earn money as an actor or actress?
Oh, God. Great.
I think it's a trick question because they say they're earning money as an actor or actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a surprise. That's great.
I can tell you immediately, don't put it in IRA right away.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's the responsible thing to do. And you might make a bunch and you put everything in an IRA. And then you get penalized because eventually you will go broke and draw on that IRA and be penalized. And I've been paying that off for most of my life, the penalty costs, where I drain those IRAs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would invest in, I don't know, James, what would you do? What would you say?
Save the money, for sure. Don't spend the money trying to achieve the glamorous life you were expecting when you started making money.
That's what I did.
Save it, because you can't buy the glamour. It doesn't exist. Glamour only exists on film. It's not in real life. And know that if you choose the performing arts, the deal long term is poverty. And you have to know that. And you have to be willing to be poor. Even if you're making some money at one point, it's not going to even out to you being wealthy for your life. That's like being struck by lightning in the performing arts to get to that level. And so if you make any money, don't blow it. Save it or spend it on something that's going to last, man. Yeah.
I hated how I was making money. I hated to be employed by Maytag. I didn't like that. I thought it was below me, but yet I wanted to show everybody, as if people are losing sleep over my life, that this isn't just like they're not just paying me peanuts. Hence, going out and buying all the flash that I could. And I wish I had your ego, James, as far as you and cars and the materialistic stuff that is really hard when you go to LA, because you look around you, on Beverly and, Sunset, and you're like, I got to get a better car, and that would weigh on me of like, they think.
The difference between me and you, Mark?
What?
Is that I moved down to Los Angeles when I was already a father. You were making money when you were a single man.
Yeah.
And so that's just
I had no responsibilities.
Completely different thing. Yeah.
You're right.
I was very clear. If you had Jackson and then moved down to Los Angeles and gotten Maytag, it would have been very clear to you. Yeah. And you would have spent the money on Jackson or saved it for college. And that, I know that.
So have a child while you're in the acting business. Have a child.
There
and just know that it's going to work out.
There you go.
That's
if
well
you make
said.
To this day, I feel like if anybody wants to pay me any money for anything, even ancillary kind of stuff to acting, I'm like, oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll do that. My goodness.
Take everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's back in the day that we wouldn't do certain things.
Yeah. So if you're making money acting, just first of all, just be very thankful that that's happening at all. That's amazing and rare.
Yeah. That's huge. But very hard to handle, I think. As my father said, I don't care what you do for the money, just don't fuck a monkey.
Yeah, very important advice.
And then I was on set of something and out comes a monkey.
They were testing you, see if you'd fit in.
I thought the Lord was testing me at that time. And I'm like, I need the money, Dad.
I don't know what projects you were working on, Mark. We got to talk about that.
Well, there are times you're going to do whatever you can,
Yeah. Yeah, if you're hungry enough, you'll do that.
Yeah.
Jason, what do we do? What do we have? What do you like?
Christy wants to know do you have any phobias besides monkeys, Mark?
Mr. Wrinkles the Clown, for sure.
I don't have phobias. I'm trying to be honest. I have to really think about this. I don't.
Did you ever have phobias? Because this is like serious stuff.
I had a phobia of not getting laid, when I was like 12 and 13 years old.
Of never getting to it. Well, my whole thing was I had to be married to do that. That was so deeply ingrained. And then once the hormones kicked in, I'm just like thinking, I don't know if I can wait till I'm married. I don't know how this works.
Wow.
But that was your phobia. Maybe that you would be alone.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm just joking. I don't know, man. I think everybody's 13 wonders.
Yeah.
I don't, not really. Heights, spiders. What are the phobias? Actually, this is interesting. I do have a phobia. There's a name for this. I don't know what the name is, but early on when people first started getting smartphones, some people had a phobia of losing their smartphone, and they were made fun of by everybody else. These people would be like, where's my phone? Oh, my God. Yeah. Where's my phone? And now, after smartphones have been around for a while, everyone has this phobia.
Yeah.
I have it. Oh, my God. Where's my
whole life?
Oh, I have it. Whew, thank God. It's right here.
Yeah.
Even though we have the cloud, and everything's backed up.
That would be called nomophobia.
Nomophobia.
Nomophobia, as in no mobile phone phobia. Nomophobia.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like
not
no
as
more
you don't
phobia.
have any more phobias.
Yeah.
Nomophobias. No,
Nomophobia.
Nomophobia.
Is that in the DSM, Jason?
I think it's coming up in the fall version next year. It's up for committee.
I get it.
Yeah, I think we all have that now.
Well, is social anxiety, is that a phobia? I mean, I had fear, I became agoraphobic because I had a panic attack in New York and I didn't know what was going on. I was in therapy at the time and the therapist was saying, that we're getting into some of the meat of what's going on. And I'm like, I don't like this then. It is, I am afraid to step out of my apartment. And so I knew what agoraphobia was from like a after school special that I thought, God, that's so weird. She can't go to a shopping center. But New York City, the whole thing is like a shopping center. You know, you walk out and there's people, and I couldn't make eye contact.
The fear of being in public.
Yes.
Agoraphobia.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, God bless anybody going through that. For me, they added, I guess it was antidepressants that slowly started to work. But I just thought, I guess I'm going to feel like this forever. And I don't know how I can integrate in society anymore, let alone try to do the thing that I'd like to do as an actor.
Yeah, you kind of have to be around people to act. Yeah,
it was a battle, man. It was a battle, and there was nothing, no internet or anything like that. There were no books at the public library, except for one book that's called "Don't Panic." As soon as I saw the title,
oh well, that's the answer. Just don't do it. Okay,
yeah,
great. Now I know.
There was no book. It was just that page, and. But yeah, man, I didn't even know what was. If you haven't had one, I know a number of our listeners have experienced this. When somebody says, "Oh, I'm having a panic attack," you want to say, like, "Is it a real one?" Because usually panic attacks are happening like just when we're having this wonderful conversation. It can just be you sitting
like unbidden, just comes
out of nowhere.
Boom,
out of nowhere. It's just your fight or flight is all messed up, and. So that was my phobia. That was it.
Jason, do you have any phobias?
Public speaking, what used to be the biggest one for me, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Talking to you guys and talking on podcasts cured me of that. So that was just repetition through the pain of trying not to wet yourself.
Yeah.
And that whole thing about visualizing the audience naked, that is bunk. Don't believe that. Don't believe that.
It did work
unless
for me
you want
once.
a random stiffy every now and again, because there's always some hot person in the audience. That's garbage advice. But yeah, public speaking was the worst one, and that is now completely gone. So I would have to say arachnophobia is never going away. I hate
for
spiders.
real.
Really?
Spiders?
If it's got more than 4 legs, kill it. If it's got more than 4 legs and it's from the sea, eat it. Those are my rules.
That's good.
That's it.
The thing about spiders, I used to tell my daughter about this. It's like spiders don't have either a skeleton or exoskeleton. They're just like a bag of fluid. So you just pop them. They're very easy to kill.
But what happens to their souls?
They all go to hell.
Oh,
Spiders.
no.
Spiders. Hell is full of spiders. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be hell.
No.
Come on,
Every
Mark.
cartoon we watch, the spider actually is a sensitive creature.
That's a bunch of
malarkey.
That's true. That it's malarkey.
Spiders
Spiders are all jerks. You can tell by looking at them. Yeah, they all bite you from behind and stuff. So yeah, I feel like I must have one, and I just can't find it. I don't know.
That's good.
I don't think so.
Did you ever get like in all the coffins you've been in? I assume.
Yeah.
On Buffy, did you ever
Confined
get
spaces?
claustrophobic? Yeah.
Nope.
Confined.
Nope. Feel safe.
Did you ever? Have you ever just tried to freak yourself out? Like Jackson and I last night were playing this game, hiding from. I let him watch like the first part of It, the new one, because it's such a great horror film, and he loves horror. I didn't realize it's not meant for a 5-year-old at all. Like it was a horrible mistake, and also the character Momo that we just don't even talk about. We don't even. If you know what Momo is, it's an internet freaky thing that's making. It's a Japanese, like this horrifying face, and I won't go into that. But we were hiding from It last night, and what was I talking about?
Phobias.
Oh, freaking yourself out.
Yeah.
Where you just assume somebody's in the house. Have you done that?
On purpose?
Yeah.
No.
Why? Try it tonight. Just see if you can freak your mind out. Jason, have you ever done this?
Why would I want to do that?
What, am I alone on this?
Exactly. You're totally alone
like
on
because it's fun to be scared, but then have you ever had a sleep paralysis dream where you believe you're awake and there's a person in your doorway trying to get you?
I've never had that dream, no. But I got to say, if I hear something in the house, I go out and check it out.
Yeah.
And first, I get my non-lethal home protection equipment which I keep very readily available by my bedside. Dude, I have a little wand that's like a cattle prod.
Oh, I heard Jason talking about this.
Jason turned me on to this. It's on Amazon.
On Amazon.
And you can get it for like $40. And it'll zap the... Oh, my God. I don't know how many zaps it's got in it, so, you can't zap forever.
You got to charge that.
There's enough charging in it. And then I've got... Jason also helped me get a pellet gun that's like a paintball gun, and it'll mess you up, man.
Now, what if they shoot you with a shotgun first?
They're not going to get a chance, because I know that house.
Would you still try to reach with your cattle prod while you're on the ground?
No. See, I've got a plan, Mark. Jesus. At distance, I pop up with and get the boom, 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 and I scurry forth, skitter, and get up close and
zap them
like that. Yeah. So that's my plan.
And
so that's what I did.
You realize it's a relative. Then you realize it's
that's why it's non-lethal, and you're just like, sorry.
I forgot.
Sorry.
Merry
You
Christmas.
should have called first.
I thought
now
you were
know.
coming home tomorrow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, Jason, what do we have on our queue?
Claire would like to know, are you both blood donors? And why or why not?
Oh.
I'm not.
Is it Claire from the show?
No.
Probably.
Why am I not? I'm not because I'm too selfish to do so.
We need blood,
be
though.
Honest about it. I know. Are you?
Plasma.
Uh-huh.
Once. For money in New York.
Okay. I don't know if that qualifies as a blood donor currently.
Yeah. Now, because I'm on statin drugs, I don't know if I qualify to give blood, because otherwise, man, I'd be there every Sunday after church.
Oh, I know you, Mark. Yeah, that's really true. Yeah. Wow, I like to think that I am capable of heroism, which is helping someone when I have to sacrifice something to do it, and giving blood certainly qualifies on that level. I like to think of myself. I could probably defend myself and list all the ways that I do that in life, but that's not one that I've done.
I think if it did become a national emergency, which very possibly could happen in this next, next 4 years, and we needed a major blood drive, and I know that they do now, that there's such a shortage of blood, but I hate to say it, but if that becomes like something I see on the media, or friends talking about it.
Yeah, like if Godzilla comes out of the Pacific Ocean and he's in a good mood, and he only just crushes one building. And he's like, I didn't want to hurt too many people. And he goes back to the ocean, still a lot of damage, and people would need blood, and I would probably go donate it.
I would do it.
Yeah.
As long as I got a sticker that said I gave blood that I could wear around to the grocery store and CVS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No sticker, no blood.
I have a friend who just is completely different. He just finished the Boston Marathon.
Yes.
And he got a lanyard for doing that.
That's pretty cool.
I was like, Chris, can I just borrow that for a weekend?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even lie about it. People would ask me about it. I'd be like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie or take but I just want to wear it for a while.
Wait, is it Chris that I know?
Yeah. He said no. In a friendly way, but he wasn't giving up the end.
Come on, man.
He worked for it.
What a dick.
He's going to keep that for a while.
He's a stud. That's amazing.
He totally is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're jerks. We don't give blood. Damn it.
Give blood, everybody.
Yeah, you got to guys out there, give blood because I don't want to. I'm busy. I'm cray busy. And you guys got to step up.
Smash cut to you playing video games.
Yeah, exactly.
Drinking your Mountain Dew. Jim!
Those heads aren't going to shoot themselves.
That's right. Oh, my God. I'm horrible. Okay.
Wow, moving on.
Jason, what else we got?
Cammy wants to know, which Beatle is your favorite within the band, and do you feel the same about them outside of the band?
Oh, man. They're all awesome. How can you choose a Beatle? I know that people are like, oh, my God, you can't choose a Beatle. I used to say John, just because he was the most edgy, But then John without Paul
wouldn't be John.
Well, no, because he was John after the Beatles, and he did music, and he did some good stuff, but it wasn't the same.
No.
You know? And Paul did a lot of good stuff.
He was the Beatles. Paul was the Beatles. He wrote the songs. He did.
John wrote some songs. They were songwriting
but Paul
duo.
was the main songwriter. John would. So of course, when they couldn't agree, you know, and they both, then you have A Day in the Life, right? But mostly it was John. It was Paul.
How do you think you know this?
Because I just listened to this long documentary of Paul talking about Yoko,
taking credit for John's songwriting.
He did, actually. He said, listen, I did, you know, Get Back was inspired from, you know, Yoko. They couldn't stand her in the studio. And then now as an older man, he's made amends because he has to, because she owns, you know, huge rights to the Beatles.
So they're friends now.
They're friends now. He's had to deal with Michael Jackson at first, right? I've always liked Paul, man.
They're both amazing. Come on, man. Yeah. They're both amazing. And then you got George.
And George is...
who is arguably as good of a songwriter as the other.
Yeah.
And like he had to spend years of not being taken seriously. And lo and behold, when they finally started really letting him write songs, they found that his songs were some of the best the band's ever done.
Yeah.
Then you have Ringo, who everyone dumps on Ringo because he's not John Bonham. He's not like a big flashy drummer. Look at me, I'm drumming. He just gives the perfect beat and the perfect drums for the song.
Well, he
supports the music.
He sings my favorite Beatles song, strangely.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Honey Don't. And if anybody can listen to it past a minute, I will send you some Twizzlers.
He also did Octopus's Garden.
Yep, that was good.
Yeah.
Lay
He
Lady
did a couple
Lay.
of really good songs.
No.
Yeah. But he is really, and if you talk to drummers, they all agree about this, that he's actually an incredibly good drummer.
Yeah.
It's just that he wasn't flashy. It's just that he wasn't trying to call attention to himself. He was trying to serve the song.
He was the drum line, or whatever you call it.
Ringo's taken a lot of guff over the years, and he's just amazing. So they're all amazing, and I don't have a favorite one. But you know what? Paul just has the best hair. Oh, my God, he's so dreamy, actually. Maybe it's Paul.
I wish John Lennon were still alive, because you get to hear more from Paul now after the ego, you know? Mm-hmm. I enjoy listening to him because now he's in that nostalgia mode where he wants to talk about everything, about the Beatles. Yeah. And I so would love, you know, the depth of John Lennon would be really beautiful to listen to.
Or John, if he was alive, would have just become bitter. He would just be like,
I hate him, everybody.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter anyway. I tried and I failed. That's what everyone does. Just they fail.
Listen, he's that dude that, you know, got with Yoko, and they did, you know, some avant-garde stuff, and he was pretty dedicated to it. And I feel like he wasn't so much about the ego yet, you know, to the point that he, you know, would invite people in that would come by to see him, apparently. Mm-hmm. And I think I could see him being, I can see him being like an Anthony Bourdain sort of thinker. Like, I just like Anthony Bourdain's wisdom, one of my favorite shows.
I don't think any of the Beatles really drank too heavily off of the ego, you know, cocktail. I think that they stayed normal. They kept each other normal. I think that's one of the things that is just so amazing about them is they kept kind of humble through the whole thing, relatively speaking, you know.
It's like them and the Stones.
Like, you never hear about the Beatles sleeping with 40 fans, you know, or trashing hotel rooms.
No, or like having to have 8 ounces of sperm pumped out of their stomach.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You never hear about the Beatles doing all the wild rock and roll stuff, and they could have. And that just didn't happen.
Yeah, you didn't hear drugs. But I do remember just the marijuana, for crying out loud. That right?
Well,
with
some
Paul.
LSD too. No, I mean,
that's true. That's true. But
George was like, I was taking LSD for a while, and then I looked at it under a microscope, and it was like ropes. And I asked myself, "You want to put that in your brain?" And I just didn't do it anymore. And that was the end. It was just done with LSD. Done. Smart.
But
man.
I think it was still legal at the time. Wasn't the CIA using it, and doctors were prescribing?
Well, that's right. If the CIA was using it, it must be legal. That's the government. They wouldn't do something wrong.
They wouldn't just do something to harm somebody.
Like the CIA gets bored. I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, let's
see what this does to people.
Do it with acid. Let's see what happens there. Good Lord.
All right. So we don't have
Jason,
a definitive
do you
answer.
have a favorite Beatle? Who's the dreamiest of the fabulous four?
You guys are probably going to throw me off the show, but I don't like the Beatles.
What?
Yeah.
End of the episode. We have to talk about
Technical
this.
issues.
Oh my God. Well, this is fascinating.
That's even more interesting.
Still love you, brother. I still love you, but why don't you like the Beatles?
I grew up on punk rock. I'm 53. I'm not of the Beatles generation, as it were.
Well, we aren't either. But you can't listen to them, and especially the White
Album. I grew
Album.
up on the Beatles. I'm old enough. I grew up. I remember when they split up. Yeah.
My gosh. It was just never. Some of the songs are catchy. You know, I did go to like Rib Fest in Naperville one year, and they had a Beatles cover band that would do all the songs, and in between songs they would do an outfit change, so you got to see all the Beatles throughout their entire
That's called
career.
Beatlemania. That was Beatlemania.
Yeah, I think this was kind of
a local
Beatle Jubilee. I don't think it was the full Beatlemania. This was.
And did you enjoy it? Well, you had ribs, so everything's going to be good if you have ribs.
Yeah, but the B-52s played later, so I was kind of waiting for them.
Okay.
You know, the real B-52s, and then I got to see the fake Beatles. The fake Beatles were okay at Rib Fest. I had a good time because they were good on stage. But did I get in my car and say, "Oh, I want to listen to the Beatles"? No. I put on some Dead Kennedys and I drove home really fast. That's what I did.
That's punk rock.
Maniac.
That's punk rock. Okay.
Okay.
I do find it beautiful music. Even today, I just put together, a little my favorite Beatles song from Love. As a stage, Broadway stage, and it was beautiful, man.
Yeah. You can explore soft side.
So whatever, we can still. And then I just also put together something of the Brian Jonestown Massacre. That's just beautiful music too.
Great soundtrack. Yeah.
No, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. You know that, right, Jason? Do you know them?
No.
They're a punk rock band.
I don't know them. They were outside my purview.
Hold on, you got to listen to Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Once you've enjoyed Jello Biafra,
I'm trying to. This 57-year-old
MDC, Millions of Dead Cops, The Exploited. That was my generation.
You were an angry young man.
I was a skateboarder who had a phobia that I was never going to get laid when I was 13. So
there you go.
And now here we all are, past the beer nuts.
We do not have time for another one. We're going to end it on beer nuts. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. That's a high point. I'm glad that we got to that.
I love it when Jason's a part of it.
Yeah,
I like three
Jason
guys
is
talking.
a funny fellow.
Yeah,
he's usually like, I'm going to let them do it today. But yeah, I would draw him out.
You taught us a new profession that we could consider ophthalmology.
I'm usually here just fact checking you guys because I was trying to find out if LSD was ever legal, and it was actually legal for a very short time in the 1960s and after 1938 when it was invented. But
there you go.
And do you know what a phlebotomist is?
Phlebotomist is someone who does take your blood, even though you don't get your blood taken.
I thought they drilled holes in your head to get the spirits out.
Well, you could get blood that way, but generally, no, they go through it.
You get all the blood that way. That's the problem with that.
All right, guys, that's the end of the show. Keep your questions rolling in, and we'll answer them as honestly as we feel like.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Murderinos.
Thanks for listening to Schmactors. Join James and Mark next time for more pointed pontification on the topics of the day. Do you have a burning question that you just can't wait to have the guys answer? Well, then head on over to schmactors.com and send it our way. If the answer won't get them canceled, we'll add it to the queue. And if you have a friend who you think would enjoy the show, use the share button in your podcast player and send it to them directly. Trust me, it'll make their day. Signing off for James and Mark, this is producer Jason. Until we meet again.